It seems as though I'm in a competition with my buddy Tony with Tony's Reviews to see who can get the most amount of solar lights outside their house. And if you haven't seen Tony's channel, I will leave a link down in the description. And you know what? I'm kind of a competitive person. So today in this video, we are going to be looking at a solar-powered streetlight, but not just any solar-powered streetlight. This one is 300 watts. What? I know, that means it's really, really bright. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. My channel is dedicated to reviewing mostly as seen on TV items. I look at some consumer gadgets, other household items. Once in a while, I do a little bit of a DIY just because I like to. If that interests you, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and click the bell below. That way you're notified every time I release a video just like this one. One more thing, don't forget to check down the description for my social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I would love it if you would follow me there too. Now, let's take a closer look at this 300 watt solar-powered streetlight by Tenkoo to see if it's any good. Here's a look into the box of our Tenkoo solar-powered street lamp. I'm really excited. This is a 300 watt street lamp. And look at that, we have a remote control. First thing I see. You know what? That looks really familiar. So I reviewed another solar-powered street lamp. Let me get that remote real fast. I think they're the same remote. I wonder if they work each other. They look exactly the same. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue unboxing this. I have a set of directions. Here's my solar-powered street lamp. I have my mounting hardware. I'm guessing underneath all of this is going to be my solar panel. Let me take it all out and check and see. Here is everything out of the box. I will say this is a gigantic street light. Man, this is much bigger than the other one I did and installed, and this is absolutely a bigger solar panel. So I have my directions. I'm ready to see what I have to do, set up and charge the actual battery, but this is pretty sweet. I'm looking forward to see how bright it is. Our first step is to install the mounting bracket to the back of the solar panel. I just really lined it up with the holes that are included here. There's a set of 4, so you can tell that I'm just lining up with the ones in the middle. The directions are kind of bad for this part. It just tells you to put a screw in and tighten it down with the tool. Well, there are 4 different size bolts. There's these ones in the middle, this ones, and these ones are for the bracketing at the end. So I figured out it's actually the smallest of the size bolts. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take these apart. I'm going to take this nut right here and put it underneath, and then I'm going to screw it down holding this in. So it will take a little bit of time, but that's what you do. And then you take this little Allen wrench tool and you tighten it down. So let's do that. So I found the easiest way to do this is to actually put the nut underneath first. So you just take it and put it under and line it up with the hole as best as you can. And then you stick the screw in over top, and it goes down. It pretty much just touches that nut part, and then you start turning a little bit so you can get it tightened. And as you maneuver this, you actually start tightening it into the nut, and then you can't take it out. And then you start tightening it down. Just a little tip. To tighten it down thoroughly, you may have to reach underneath and hold the nut as you tighten this part down. But once it grabs, it starts pulling down. Be careful not to tighten down any one specific screw before getting all of the other ones in, because you still want to have some play in it. So I've got these 2 in, it's still a little bit of play. So I'm going to spin around my Lazy Susan here and install the other 2. And once I get all 4 of them in, I'm going to tighten it down completely. After all 4 of these are in, I actually take this other tool and I put a little bit of pressure underneath on the nut so that way I can tighten the screw down. There's no way I can fit my fingers under here because there's a tight space there, but this at least allows me to get it to a spot where I can tighten it. I'm going to do this to all 4 of them, and then I'll have it nice and cinched. The next part will be to attach this piece to the bracket, and this piece will eventually attach to the arm where you will secure it to a wall or a pole or whatnot. Anyway, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to install this middle one, because then I have a point of pivot, and then depending on the angle I want, I can connect it to one of the other ones. You have the other set of screws and an Allen wrench, so I'm going to hook up the middle parts first, and then I'm going to decide my angle. I found that I was not able to hold this nut by hand, so I got a crescent wrench to help me out, and then it's just easier to hold that way, and I can tighten this up the rest of the way. I'll do the same thing with the other side. Now I'm going to set this bracket at an angle where I think is going to be appropriate for me. And so I've chosen to align it up here, and it's on a slight angle, and I think it'll catch the most sun. Now we want to end up installing this arm into the light, but I will tell you I had to loosen 6 screws. The 2 you see on top here, and then if I flip this over, there are 4 more on the other side, and they just control this area where I can put the pipe in. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to take this wire and fish it through the best I can to try to get it to come through this hole right here, if you see that, because that's where we're going to end up connecting our solar panel. So we install this light, we have the bracket on the top, we fit this in, we make sure we are as level as possible and straight, and then we take our Allen wrench and tighten it down. Our last step is to secure this solar panel to the actual frame. They have these bolts included. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm just going to put them in there loosely, because when I will go and install it to a pole, I want to be able to turn it left or right to make sure I have the most sun coverage. And once I get this installed, I'm actually going to hook these 2 wires together and try to fish it back into the pole. Hooking the wires up is pretty simple. You will see this is a little misshapen, so you can just reorientate it. You just hook the 2 pieces together, push them in. Once you get them connected like that, you screw the nut down. And like I said before, I'm going to try my best to fish everything just into this pipe here. The directions tell us that when we have this whole thing set up, we set it in the sun for a full 8 hours to get a charge. It looks as though we're definitely connected because I have some lights there. I have a piece of styrofoam from the box, and I'm actually going to cover the solar panel just to see what happens. Look at that! The light came on, and it's really bright. So, even though the directions weren't that clear, installation wasn't that difficult. I would love to hear your thoughts. This is a $170 solar-powered street light as per this video. What are your thoughts about that price point, about the solar-powered light? Let me know down in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. I have my solar-powered street light here hung from this telephone pole. Right now I just have it attached with some deck screws and some large washers just so it stays up there. If I end up liking this position, I'll replace those with some lag bolts. I just wanted to show you where it was during the day. It is exactly 12 feet off the ground, which for me, that's all I'll really need. Later this evening, we will show you what it looks like on. You can sort of see those flickering lights there. That shows us that we are completely charged. I have 3 red ones and 2 green ones lit. Here's the moment of truth. We're looking around here. I don't see anything on the ground real well. Let's turn our light on. Whoa, that is super bright. Do you see that range I have here? I'll pay no attention to my grass that's not trimmed there. But it's got really good range, really good visibility, and it's really bright. Right now we have this in dim mode, and as you can see the light is on, it illuminates the lower area, but as I get closer or start to move, it's supposed to, oh, there it goes. See how bright that got? Let me back up and see. You can absolutely see a whole lot more of this area. That is pretty sweet. I like that with my remote control, I can dim down the lights. Watch this dim. And you see this, that blinking right there means I reached the end. And so if I don't want this as bright, I can do that, or I can turn it all the way back up. And when it does that blinking again is when I've reached now the top. In this video, we were looking at Tecnew's 300-watt solar-powered streetlight. So what did I think of it? Well, even though the directions weren't that clear, the installation was pretty easy. And it's a really heavy streetlight. I like that all the materials seemed like it was constructed out of really good, solid stuff, and it's going to last a long time. It does come with a 2-year warranty, and I will leave more specifications down in the description. I even like that they had a clamp to go around a pole. Even though I don't have a pole that size at my house, I ended up hooking it right to a street light pole, or a telephone pole, so to speak. But I like that it comes with that kind of mounting hardware. All right, so anything I didn't like about it, it was really, really heavy, but this is not something that necessarily it's the fault of it. But when I was climbing up the ladder and had my drill, it was just heavy to hold on to all those things. So if you're going to install this, make sure you have 2 people, someone to help out, because it was kind of awkward at times. Anyway, if this light is something that interests you, I will leave a link down in the description. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for you. As always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day. I wanted to walk you through the features of the remote, and you should note that it does come with batteries. They just go in the back. All right, so simple things. On, off. So if you want to make it brighter, you click it up brighter. If you want to make it dimmer, you make it go dimmer. Now you can click an 8-hour timer or a 6-hour timer. Those are those two. You also have the automatic light, so it's just in sensing mode. These ones right here are neat. I end up using this one most of the time. So if you click 2 + 2, it's 2 hours bright plus 2 hours of motion sensor. Okay, so and then it goes off after that. This is 4 hours bright, 4 hours motion sensor, 6 hours bright, 6 hours motion sensor, 4 hours bright, 8 hours motion sensor. So anytime it's in the motion sensor mode and you enter it, it'll brighten up for about 20 seconds or so. This one is just motion sensor mode, so it's always dim unless you walk into the area. I really do appreciate that you stayed around for my entire review of the Tenkoo solar powered streetlight. You know what? In this video, I referenced another solar powered streetlight that I did a review of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link that review right up here. And I would love it if you would click on this link. And when you do, by the magic of the internet, I'm going to join you at that review. So go ahead, click it. It's safe. I promise.